So let's begin. Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Good. Welcome to the 2019 Noble Texas Builders Draft. It is in fact draft day. And in case you're wondering, my last name is not Goodell. Let me introduce myself. My name is Manuel Morales, and I serve as the communication specialist at Workforce Solutions Cameron. We're very excited to partner up with the great people here at Noble Texas Builders. One of the leaders in the construction industry in our region, to team up for the first ever draft day. Now, before we begin, I'd like to introduce to you guys Mr. Alfredo Garcia, who is the Director of Operations with Noble. Mr. Garcia?
Good morning. I wasn't asked how everybody's doing, but by earlier, he just asked, and everybody's doing pretty well. So, good morning again. Just really want to welcome everybody out here to our office and celebrating this first draft day ever in the Cameron County. And we're really super excited. We got some great folks here that came on board with us, and we're super excited to have them be part of our Noble family. And just want to thank you all again for showing up and supporting us and supporting the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Garcia. Now I want to introduce Mr. Pat Hobbs, who is the Executive Director at Workforce Solutions Cameron, who has a lot of insight as to what the construction industry here means in Cameron County. Mr. Hobbs?
I am very excited to be here today. As we all know, this is the first of many signing days across the valley. In fact, I was telling Renee this morning, I just got an email from Los Fresnos. They're going to do one on May the 22nd. So the whole idea of the draft days is to bring attention to the world of work. All graduates have to have a 4-year degree or they're going to be a failure. The truth is 70 to 80% of tomorrow's jobs are technical in nature, not requiring a bachelor's degree. And thousands of jobs in the trade area are required, and particularly in the Valley region. Most of you have heard about the LNGs coming. It's not only the LNGs. It's LNGs, the potential steel mill, the shipbuilding at Amfels, potential power plants being built, lots and lots of construction. And so I say thank you to Renee and his group, the Noble Builders. They're going to be an important part of what goes on here in the Valley and the improvement in our economy. And I do want to stress the fact that I've been told by the LNGs that they're going to pay no less than $17 an hour, even for laborers. And that's going to raise the whole wage rate for the entire Valley area. And that's a good thing. More money in the pockets of our workers, more churn in our economy, and everybody benefits. So I'm glad that we're changing the attitude or beginning to change the attitude about where our young people ought to spend their efforts. Get certified in a trade and do well for your family. So thank you for inviting me to this event, and I look forward to many more such events in the Valley over the next several months. So thank you.
Well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Hobbs. At this moment, we'd like to also introduce to you guys Dr. Rita Hernandez, who is representing Cameron County Education Initiative. Dr. Rita.
Thank you for that. So we represent CCEI, Cameron County Education Initiative. We're a nonprofit career school committed to Governor Abbott's goal of establishing a workforce in Texas by 2030, his whole bold 60 by 30 plan, and we do it in an affordable manner. And we can only survive and provide affordable training when we partner up with great industry leaders like Renee Capistran and folks like, I call him Principal Hobbs, Mr. Hobbs, and his team, Henry Castillo and Mr. Vaughn. So thank you for partnering with us today. These collaborative efforts can't exist without Texas Workforce Commission, the Workforce Solutions and industry partners, so thank you. So on behalf of the CCI family, let me tell you, we're real proud of our students, we're real proud of our instructors, and our instructor is here, our students are here, and we're proud to hand them over from the CCI family to the Noble family. And boys, you just don't realize, gentlemen, how lucky you are to be going from a family of ours to a family like the Noble family. Mr. Capistan is a true public servant. When I was an assistant superintendent, he'd visit the schools. The kids would just run in the halls because Bob the Builder was in town. And I'm honored to call him my friend and my partner. Students, again, you are most fortunate to go in, and most of you from the get-go said, I want to go to Noble. And it worked out for you. And you held on, and you held on, and you waited, and you waited, and waited, and it did work out for you. And there's 20 or 30 behind you that were wishing they could be in their spot, and I brought 3 today that would want to be in your spot. So know this, CCI is very proud of you. You are being drafted by Noble, but the back of your shirt, whether it says it or not, will always say CCEI. So please, I know you're going to represent us with honor, and I know you just opened the path for the students behind you. So I wish you well. And Mr. Capistan, I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Hernandez. Now, let me ask you all this. Are we ready to draft?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Because at the looks of this, it looks like Noble Texas Builders is officially on the clock. So, Mr. Capistan, Mr. Garcia, if you could please step forward, please. Alrighty. So, the first pick is in. With the first pick in the 2019 draft, Noble Texas Builders selects Alfonso Campos, field specialist. Awesome, thank you. With their second pick in the 2019 draft, Noble Texas Builders selects Valente Cortez, field specialist. We're getting word that there is a trade. No, I'm just with the third pick in the 2019 draft, Noble Texas Builders selects Hector Ortega, project expediter. With their fourth pick in the 2019 draft, Noble Texas Builders selects Sergio Picazo, construction specialist. Let's have a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Capistan. But guys, let's have one more round of applause for all the draftees today. Congratulations. Now, we want to commend these young men for, taking advantage of the opportunity, but, with their hard work and determination, completing the training and choosing to pursue such a career like this. In a growing and high demand industry. Now this must be an incredible feeling for all the gentlemen before you, but Hector, I want to ask you this, what does it mean to be drafted by Noble?
Well, start off, humble. Humble is the right word. Sit in CCI for 10 weeks and then we had different companies come in and talk to us as far as, we would like you to join our company, or this is what we have to offer. You know, when Mr. Capistran came in, I felt very humble, really did. One thing that got me was, we give back to the community. I love that. I really want to be part of giving back. So, being here makes me humble and remembering my roots. Not many people know this, but we grew up in the same neighborhood. So, that entails, hey, at least we've got some type of connection that we can give back to the community. So, humbled is what it means to be here.
Thank you so much for sharing. So let's, take a step backwards for a second and try to identify this. How did we get here? How was all of this possible? And I think that the perfect person to talk about this is our regional director, Mr. Henry Castillo. If you could just talk a little bit about how this was all possible.
Good morning. Congratulations, guys. It's been I'm sure a very long but very fruitful journey. And this is just the next step in the next part of your journey. And so, again, my name is Henry Castillo. I'm a regional director with Workforce Solutions Cameron. I'm going to talk a little bit about the time, the investment that we make in these individuals and individuals like them that come to Workforce Solutions Cameron seeking something better, seeking either training to be able to get a job, or maybe they're already working, but it's not going anywhere. They're looking to get something better. And so what we do is we try to assess, what it is that they need, what it is that they want, and what's the best fit, and how can we help. In this particular case, it all started with us partnering with CCEI to invest, to get these people enrolled in training and to ensure that as much as possible, the cost of their training, any types of supports that they needed to be able to stay in and be successful in training were there and provided for them. Our staff also provide ongoing counseling while they're in, again, helping to motivate them to stay in. Rita and her team does a great job of working with the students. We're there as a support. And so once they're ready to exit and go out and look for those opportunities, he mentioned having different employers come in and talk to them about what they had to offer. So what we do is that's where we start stepping in and say, okay, which employer is it that you think is the best fit for you, and how can we help facilitate that? So what we do is we talk to those employers. In this case, we talk to Noble and said, okay, so what will it take to hire these individuals? Obviously, we hope that they have the skills, the experience, and the drive that you're looking for. But what can we do to help get it over the hump and get you to give these individuals a chance? And so what we do is we have a program called on-the-job training, or OJTs. Essentially what an OJT is, it allows us to help bridge that gap between the employer and kind of close the deal. Essentially what we do is we work with the employer to agree upon a training plan when they hire these individuals for a certain period of time. And during that time, Workforce Solutions will provide financial assistance to help offset the cost of training that any employer incurs when they hire a new individual. Sometimes when they hire a new individual, it doesn't work out, and they're out all of their time and their money. But in the case of an OJT, this allows the employer some flexibility and some comfort that if this individual doesn't work out, in this case, all of these individuals will work out. That at least the employer isn't out all of their time and effort, and so it's just a program that we have that will again assist and help bridge the gap and make it easier to facilitate the process of these individuals becoming productive employees for any employer. In this case, it's Noble. So that's how it works for us. And again, guys, congratulations, Mr. Capistran. Congratulations on the hires, and thank you for being a very good partner with us. And we hope that this is just the first group of many more to come.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. So now you know, Workforce Solutions Cameron offers services to job seekers and employers alike. We truly strive to connect job seekers and employers. Now, before we leave, there's something that President and CEO of Noble, Valente Cortez, would like to share.
Thank you, and once again, thank you for being here. I feel that we're very fortunate and blessed to be here in the Rio Grande Valley. As Mr. Hubbs mentioned earlier, this is the tip of the iceberg. We have so many companies, industries coming into this area, from what's happening in the Port of Brownsville to happening with SpaceX, and there's a huge demand on our skilled workforce that it is quickly going to shrink. And so we have to be ready. And it's funny because I'd say about a year ago, my dear friend, Dr. Hernandez, calls me and says, Renee, this is what we're forecasting. And you hear it a lot, but she had facts. When a doctor speaks, usually they've done their homework. And so they did. And we sat down with her. We understood what was happening. We came and met with some of her students. And at the end of the day, I believe that everybody in industry has a moral responsibility to partner up with education facilities like Cameron County Education Initiative, Texas Workforce Solutions, Cameron Workforce Solutions, team up to help increase the human capital in the area. We have to do our part. We're very fortunate to have these 4 young men here because they are bringing much value to our company. I couldn't ask for better team members than these 4 that are sitting here. We are so excited about the future and our continued partnership with organizations like Texas Workforce, like organizations with Cameron County Workforce Solutions, CCEI, AGC. We have Perry here. Perry's always advocating, the Associated General Contractors of America, for our skilled workforce. It is partnerships like that. We have the City of La Feria, we have City of Harlingen, we have Brownsville, GBIC here. We have so many partners, and that's what it takes. It takes all of us working together. So I challenge my partners in industry and business to step up and be part of this incredible opportunity to help improve our human capital in the Rio Grande Valley. You heard the benefits that the state is offering. They're willing to take some of the financial burden to help increase the human capital, to be able to train the future workforce of tomorrow. We are competing today here in Little Cameron County. We're competing in a global economy, believe it or not. If you don't, go down south, see what's happening in the Port of Brownsville, see what's happening at Boca Chica Beach, see what's happening in McAllen, see what's happening all over the Rio Grande Valley. And if we don't do it, then who will? And if not now, then when? The time is now. So I ask you and I challenge you to join us in this great partnership to help transform the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you guys and welcome aboard. At this time, I would like to ask our newest team members to go ahead and stand up, turn your hard hats around. They do have their names on them, and there's a reason for that. Because everybody at Noble is family, and we all go by our first names. Because we're family, and in a family, we all call each other brothers and sisters. So thank you for joining the team, and I ask you to join your family now. Thank you.
Picture with Alfredo in the back.
Good picture. Where are you?
Alfredo and one. Get our guys with our
It's mine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Capistrán. Now, We would like the officials here to maybe come to the table because maybe friends from the media may have some questions for us. So if I could have Mr. Capistran, Mr. Garcia, Dr. Hernandez, Mr. Castillo, Mr. Hobbs come to the table as we will be opening the floor to questions. So, friends from the media, if you do have a question, we ask that you stand, identify yourself and your affiliation before asking your questions. The floor is open, so please, by all means. Questions.
Any questions from anybody?
Any questions from anybody? It's open to anybody who could ask a question. I mean, I'll start us off then. Mr. Capistran, you kind of touched upon it, but this being the very first ever draft day, I mean, what does it mean to Noble, and where do you see this going in the future?
That's a big mic.
Obviously, the word that we used earlier was humble. It's a humbling experience to be able to see what's happening before us. We have the folks from CCEI that have gotten an opportunity at life to really pursue a career. And that's what's important to me. I think that this draft gives future employees an opportunity to engage in a career and not necessarily a job. There's a big difference between both of those. A career provides you meaningful employment that you will be able to provide for your family. It provides benefits, provides retirement, and a good paying job. And I think that's what we're doing today. And I believe that this draft will encourage other partners in the industry to team up and do this, because I'm telling you right now, the skill level that I have witnessed from these 4 young men, I'll put up against anybody else. They're amazing, and I just think that there's so many great opportunities right around the corner for many other employers.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Perry Bond with the Associated General Contractors. Perhaps not a question as much as a comment, and that will be to extend my thanks to Noble Texas Builders for participating in today's signing draft day, rather. I was sitting at my desk last night. ABC is a nationwide association with chapters throughout the U.S., and I ran across an article out of California, San Diego chapter, and they had just completed their signing day. Apparently this is a nationwide event where individuals, perhaps from high school as well as out of educational programs, as Dr. Hernandez's program, throughout the U.S., attempting to recognize individuals such as the 4 gentlemen that you brought on today for their accomplishments. And they have found out quickly at Noble that education doesn't end with employment. Several of these guys are already in the ABC Construction Supervisor Fundamentals course and are about ready to graduate out of it as well. So I know Noble, I know what is expected from you as employees, and again, it's an ever-changing life that you're looking at, and education doesn't stop at the doorstep, right? And I want to commend once again Noble for their actions, and I hope to see more and more people participate in the same type of thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Do we have any more questions?
I have a question probably for Mr. Castillo. I've actually had a few people out there ask me, how do they go about learning more about how they can become involved in this program? Do they contact the Workforce Solutions Cameron first, or how do they go about getting started with something like this?
It really depends on the individual. There's a couple of different ways they can do this. One is sometimes what happens is the individuals go to a school. They're interested in some type of a vocation, some type of training. So they'll go to schools to say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about what you have to offer and how can I get in? Typically what happens is those schools have relationships with us. So they'll say, well, here's what we have to offer, but as far as how to pay for it, typically the schools that offer this type of training that are non-degree training any type of certificate training, don't offer federal financial aid. So the students have to come up with ways to pay for that. So this is where Workforce Solutions can step in. We offer assistance to pay for training at a lot of different schools, even if they don't offer degrees, but also only offer certificates. These schools are certified through the Texas Workforce Commission, and the schools that are in our area, those students can come to us. There's an eligibility process, and I didn't touch on this too much earlier, but you know, these students sitting here, there was a very long process that took them to get here. And part of that is going out and exploring training opportunities. The next step is going through our process of being determined eligible to receive financial assistance, us coordinating with CCEI to make sure that we can facilitate their entry as soon as possible into training. And then again, it's an ongoing process, like Mr. Capistrán talked about the family. You know, we're there, as I mentioned earlier, we're there to support the students throughout the process. We work very closely with Dr. Rita and CCEI and any schools that have students that we work with because we've invested, we've made an investment in these students and their futures, and so we want them to be successful. So it's just a matter of either them going to the school and coming to us, or so they can go through the process of hopefully receiving some financial assistance, or they can come straight to our offices. Every Wednesday we have orientations in our offices that talk about the eligibility process, about the training opportunities that are available. All the student has to do is come in. There's no cost for them to be there. They don't have to register. They can just walk in. They'll hear all about the process, what it takes, and then they decide whether this is an investment and that they want to make.
Thank you.
I just wanted to run by y'all. There's been an increase in interest by manufacturers looking at the region. I know there's at least half a dozen looking at the whole region. The question is, they're all manufacturing related. And so, you know, I don't know if there's a place or in y'all's site that maybe shows the amount of people available that are perhaps have a certain skill set in manufacturing. That'd be very helpful for them because these are global companies that could not only go here in our area, but could go anywhere around the United States or even Mexico. But I know we have that competitive edge, but I just think it would be very helpful to know the level of employees that are here, the level of people, and the kind of skill set that is in place, because I think it'll help us compete even more so to get some of those manufacturing companies here.
Well, it's not widely known, and I don't know why, but we have a massive database across the whole state of Texas. It's called Work in Texas. As individuals come in and register with Work in Texas in our offices, they go into that pot. Employers post their positions that are available on that system. The system matches up the qualifications of the job seeker with the requirements of the job and matches them together. It's a word recognition system. Doesn't always work really well, but we have people in our offices that help the employer load the proper information into the system and also assist job seekers in loading their qualifications and their resumes so that the system gives them a better match. The only thing I'd say about the system is it's a historical database. The demand that's coming with LNG, 5,000 construction workers, maybe more, is not in our Work in Texas system because they haven't come in and started posting those jobs yet. But on May the 23rd, I have a meeting with the LNGs, and the purpose of that meeting is to have them tell us on a spreadsheet that I built how many of each job they need and when they need them. I mean, it's everything from riggers to painters to electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, carpenters, a whole array of construction trades, and they're going to need 400 or 500 of each one of them. But I need to know, for training purposes, to work with the colleges, when do you need which ones? Because that schedule will tell me when I go to CCEI or TC or TSC and say, look, now we have a confirmed demand for workers. We've gotta have them trained by X date so that the LNGs can hire them. I don't want the LNGs to bring in what they call travelers from other areas of the state when we have the potential to build the workforce here to satisfy those needs. And the same holds true for manufacturing. We can go into the system and find everybody who says they have manufacturing experience. We can tag them even with email and phone numbers. So we can give manufacturers that information. A lot of times we can also use that database when we talk to a manufacturer or a construction firm. What is it exactly that you want? Once they tell us, we go into the system, alert those job seekers to come in for upskill training, so that even if they don't have the specific skill sets that the company needs, we can train them up to have those skill sets by the time the industry needs them. So there's a lot of services available in our office, and certainly a lot of data. So just come and see us.
I would add one more thing to that. We have very good working relationships with many employers throughout Cameron County and even beyond Cameron County, because there's employers that hire people that come down here and recruit people. A lot of people that we've worked with, especially in the skill trades, in the welding industry, structural fitters, they come, and companies from outside the area come and hire them and take them to Corpus, to along the Gulf Coast to work in those types of jobs. And most of the individuals go because they pay better wages right now. Hopefully, as the economy continues to grow locally, those wages will go higher, and some of these people will be able to get job opportunities here, or even those that have left can come back. But the other thing I wanted to mention was we also have a system through the Texas Workforce Commission of labor market and career information. And this allows us, so let's say an employer, a manufacturer, is interested in coming to the area. They say, well, I'm looking for X type of workers, X number of workers. So the system, the labor market system, can allow us to go in and target the number of, that it links to the Work in Texas system Mr. Hobbs talks about, but it'll allow us to give them a number of individuals that are identified as qualified to work or interested in working in those particular jobs or those particular industries. And then once we identify that, if the employer says, you know, I need to know more, can I start talking to some of these people, that's where we will go and target through Work in Texas those individuals to see, look, we've got these employers that are interested in hiring people like you. Are you interested in coming in so they can talk to you? So we've got a couple of different systems and that's also information we can provide to the employer, looking at labor availability. So there's several different ways that we can do that, but that's definitely something that we can offer.
Let me add one more thing. I think it's important for industry to know that aside from the data that we have available and the services that are normally offered in our offices, from Austin, from the Texas Workforce Commission, there are several training grant programs. One of them is skills development. $48 million in the pot in Austin for upskilling current workers, or a new company's coming in and needs to train up workers, and I'm sure we're going to use it for the LNGs and others. That money is available. It's competitive grants, but we've been very successful in this region, both using the Skills Development Fund. I also have matching money available for high demand occupations. A company comes in, or a company is expanding, and they need to upskill their workers, and we declare it a high demand occupation. I have $150,000 available for match by either a company or a consortium or a foundation or an EDC. So the point I'd like to make is there is assistance available to companies that are expanding or retraining or bringing new employees to the area. So come and talk to them.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Yes, so to Dr. Hernandez, can you tell us about the program at CCEI?
Thank you. I thought I was getting way easier over here. So I'd like to hark back to something Principal Hobbs, Mr. Hobbs stated, he talked about those grants that are available. The gentleman in the back, just know that they went through education and training, and they came out with industry recognized certifications in NCCR, as well as forklifting and OSHA 10. All these industry recognized certifications in partnership with Noble. Noble actually sends some of their Noble experts over to help train our students, and they all left with zero debt. And they're able to do that because one of the grants Mr. Hobbs mentioned, the Texas Industry Partnership Grant, and most of the gentlemen in the back went through that, where Mr. Hernandez, our school founder, put up half the money, and it was matched in Mr. Hobbs' office, so that we could provide zero debt training. Everything we do at CCEI is affordable, and students leave with zero debt. And that's what we do. We try to help families thrive, and we just happen to do so through workforce training. So I look at what Noble's mission is, and it is bold. It's to inspire hope, improve lives, strengthen communities. In essence, you want to help families thrive. And the only way we can do that is we can provide affordable zero debt training to families. But partner, if we're going to do that, we don't survive if we can't partner with people like Noble, with Mr. Hobbs, with Mr. Castillo. That is the only way that we can help the families in our community. I'm just touched by by Noble standing up saying, we'll give these kids a chance. We have to focus on improving the skills of the folks, the families in our community. That's the only way to increase their earning capacity. And I can do so much, but unless my partner comes up, and we have others in the works that are doing it, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But what you don't see is like Mr. Castillo's team, when folks come to us for training and they have issues, they assist them with childcare. They assist them with vouchers for gas. They assist them, we eliminate every barrier together. And it's hard. It's easier to just charge one, right? But it's hard because we all have to leverage resources to pull this off. So that's what Cameron County Education does. Leverage resources, partner with people to help families thrive.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir, please.
Roberto Gonzalez with Texas Board of Business. Can you tell me what CCI means?
CCEI is Cameron County Education Initiative. It's a nonprofit career school.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Juan Delgado with Noble. So what's the process if somebody's dreaming like somebody wants to become part of this program? Is there somebody they have to call, or what's the process like?
They want to register in our career school.
Yes, and they want to become, have an opportunity like this.
Just call the school, and we'll help you out. We have a really good team. You can call Henry Castillo's team; they're there also. There's a lot of great things in the works. Mr. Hobbs is kind of a quiet guy, but he's not a still guy. We have a lot of these grants coming up. Just know this Texas Industry Partnership is the first time we've done it south of San Antonio. So. And as South Texas goes, the great state of Texas goes, right? So folks need help, they just reach out, and there's plenty of people that want to work with them at Henry's office, at Mr. Cobb's office, definitely at our office.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How you doing? Adrian with Noble. From Mr. Capistrano, Mr. Garcia, if you can tell us how far does the opportunities for Noble reach? Is it just here valley-wide, or does it go further than here?
So the opportunities in the industry are sky's the limit. With Noble, obviously we have offices here in the Rio Grande Valley. We support all the counties in the area, and then we have offices in Central Texas as well. So the opportunities that start could be here, and they can land you in Austin, San Antonio, Houston market, where we have offices that represent as well. So come on up. If for any reason, anybody that's watching this live stream, as Dr. Hernandez mentioned, if you need some support, call our office at 277-0708, and we will direct you and help you out and send you to Dr. Hernandez, and she will take it from there. Next thing you know, you will have a career. Thank you.
Are there any other other questions for any of the panelists here?
And if you don't like construction, we have Manny Bailey here who hired you. On over. That would have good people.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. So before we conclude, I'd definitely just like to share some special acknowledgements. This was a very momentous occasion for us, having this been, the very first draft day here. We're very grateful for the incredible staff here at Noble Texas Builders for making this possible. Thank you, Celine and Christine, and special shout out to Luciana and Dee. Thank you all so much. We want to thank everyone in attendance today. Thank you to those who are watching via the Mevo. But most importantly, congratulations again to all the draftees in the back. Thank you guys so much for your time.